I'm Ciarán McCarthy, and this is Hot, Hip, and Hungry. Our journey starts with a visit to Nashville's Patterson House, where they've taken the art of a great cocktail to an entirely new level. And I caught up with one of the owners, Ben Goldberg. I'm looking around this place, and this is awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we get to have a little bit of fun in here.
It looks that way. Tell me about the name. Let's go back to the history of it. How'd you come up with it?
The Patterson House is a classic cocktail bar. We take cocktails back to the pre-Prohibition days. We sort of explored the history of Prohibition in the United States. And we found that Governor Patterson was governor of Tennessee when Prohibition was passed. He vetoed Prohibition, saying he did not want to rule over a state where people could not make their own choices in terms of drinking. The legislature overturned his veto, which then caused Prohibition to go into effect. Governor Patterson stood up for what he believed in, so we feel like he should have a bar named after him.
Giving him a shout out.
We are,
An old
yes.
school shout out. It's great. I mean, clearly we're going with the speakeasy feel.
Yes. We wanted you to feel like you step back in time a little bit. We sort of put the dark woods and the library books in, so you really felt like you step back in time and you could almost be anywhere in the entire world. Creating the ambiance in here, which we feel like is a little bit more refined, it sort of sets the mood for people's experiences within the Patterson House.
Now, you don't just have any old bartenders.
We do
whipping
not.
up your drinks. These are mixologists. So talk about them. What do you put them through in order to work here?
They go through a pretty rigorous training. It's about a 175-page manual. They need to memorize everything from the ounce of different spirits to all the different bitters that we have. Learn how to make those. We use 8 different types of ice. We twice filter our water. So they really need to know about all sorts of different spirits, vodkas, gins, rums, tequilas, and not only the base spirits, but what goes in those to make those and why they have different flavor profiles. So the training program is about 70-75 hours of in-class training, as well as a couple of days behind the bar following a bartender. The fear that we had going into it was that people wouldn't quite get what took so long for their drink to get made. You know, you're waiting 5, 6, 7 minutes for a drink here. And my concern was that people are so used to going to a bar, ordering their Jack and Coke, ordering their, scotch and water, and it gets thrown across the bar to them and that's it. Whereas here, you really have to wait.
But it's worth it.
It is worth it. They are special experiences, something you usually can't find elsewhere.
Well, I think the introduction has been sufficient. I'm ready to drink. So we're gonna go talk to James and see what James is concocting back there in the lab. And they have a lab, for real. As promised, I'm here with James, the master mixologist himself. And James, how you doing?
Fantastic.
So talking about being a mixologist, in a way you're kind of a scientist, the way you put things together.
Some people would say that, yeah. It's a little bit of hocus pocus, it's a little bit of science, it's a little bit of chef, it's a little bit of everything, to put together drinks to make them fantastic.
Well, I'm teased. I've got fresh ingredients here, got all the alcohol lined up, all the individually made bitters. I'm ready to drink. What are you gonna make them?
Well, Vincent's Ruin is a house original. It's a bourbon-based drink. It has Saint Germain elderflower liqueur in it, lemon. It'll have a little absinthe rinse on the glass. Very, very popular for us. We're gonna start out with just a dash of simple syrup. Now this will go up against the lemon that I'm about to add to help balance out the drink. Basically, it's a twist on the old whiskey sour.
Sweet and sour.
Your Saint Germain.
And what's Saint Germain? Saint Germain is, what did you call it? An elderflower?
Saint Germain is an elderflower liqueur. Yes, from France, made from elderflowers. Very limited quantity of elderflowers grow in the base of the Alps every year. They can only produce as much as they can harvest in one given year.
So far we've got a sweet, we've got a sour, and we've got a floral.
Yep. And now everybody's favorite, the booze.
The booze.
In this case, it's Bullet Bourbon.
And this stuff's legit. We're not using any moonshine.
No. And then our bitters.
Bitters.
These will be our house lemon bitters, so we're going to accentuate the lemon that's already in there. It also plays very well with the elderflower. Do about 7 drops. We're going to get our glassware here.
The ice is a bomb.
More mass and less surface area leads to a slower melt. We also don't want the ice to impart flavors into the drink, so we make sure that all the water that goes into making our ice is twice filtered, so we keep a nice, clean, pure flavor, and you're only tasting what we want you to taste, which is the
Don't be
cocktail.
taken away from the good stuff.
Exactly. This is going to be absinthe. We're going to rinse the glass with just a little bit of absinthe here. This is predominantly for the nose, but it'll also add a layer of flavor and complexity to the drink.
Smell it. That looks awesome.
All right, we're gonna give it one last component. We're gonna give it just a little bit of lemon across the top. And this is gonna echo the lemon flavors that are already in the drink. It's also gonna bring out all of the aroma.
Sure. It's dynamite. That is ridiculous.
The Vincent's Ruins.
I don't want to touch it. I just want to look at it and appreciate it. All right, James, to you.
To you, sir.
It's amazing. You like taste everything you put in there. I get the flour. I get the sweet. I get the sour. Just that subtlety of lime. Delicious, dude. Killer drink.
Thank you.
Still to come, I sink my chops into some tasty Tex-Mex that puts locally grown and organic at the top of the menu. Next, I'll take you to where the food and the social scene are both works of art. We'll be right back. For over a decade, Virago has been an award-winning Nashville institution. With a new location and contemporary design, they've somehow managed to raise the bar even higher. I caught up with owner Chris Heineman to get the scoop.
You know, Nashville is a great city, and we're really just trying to deliver that cosmopolitan, edgy, big city feel to a city that's growing and introduce Nashville to a whole different way of dining and a whole different way of going out.
What can people expect from the old place, carry over from the new one, and then what's different?
The space itself is increased in size by quite a bit. We started 10 years ago and with 120 seats. We expanded that location to its max of about 175 seats, and then brought this over here to where we have a total of 280 interior seats and then a rooftop patio and second level patio of another 130 seats. So it's a large restaurant.
Well, I'm ready to experience it. We're gonna go over to Robbie, Chef Robbie, and see what he's cooking up. Chris, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. All right, Robbie, we're coming for you. So why don't you talk about your influences as a chef, where you've come from, and what's gotten you into this Pan-Asian fusion?
My influences as a chef has always been basically what I like to eat. All my travels, all the different places I've cooked before, you kind of see that in our food. Trying to keep also the Japanese theme going. A perfect example, let me bring this
Sure.
roll. This is a katana roll, and what you'll find, you know, sometimes the term fusion kind of gets blown out of proportion, but you really see it here in this dish. This is soy paper. We wrap the sushi rice in soy paper, as opposed to nori. It has a completely different texture, a texture that I'm very fond of. And on the top of this, you have 3 different ceviches. So all of a sudden, you're seeing now influence of Latin America with sushi. There's scallop ceviche, there's salmon ceviche, there's tuna ceviche, and also shrimp. A little bit of sweet eel sauce that we make here in house, just drizzled over the top. And so this is the furthest thing from actually a traditional Japanese sushi roll, but it's one of our more popular rolls, and it's the one that I have a tendency to gravitate to when I eat here as well.
Sure. Well, let's start with the scallop. Big fan of scallop. Here we go. Bottoms up.
You have all different flavors coming on here, from fatty salmon to shellfish to tuna, and the scallop. So, you know, this looks like a lot of roll, but if you think about it, you're getting 2 pieces of salmon, you're getting 2 pieces of tuna, so it's kind of everything in one.
I mean, and even just presentation. I mean, this is color with the yellow. I mean, it's just so different from what you normally think of when you think, oh, I'm getting sushi with that seaweed. And no, I mean, this looks great.
This is our Big Island box roll. So what we have here is some chili spiked sushi rice, and we've got some fish from the Big Island of Hawaii, thus the Big Island box roll, hamachi, and also big eye tuna. And on the top we have a little sweet avocado salsa. Once again, you know, the furthest thing from traditional Japanese sushi, but we stay with the theme here. Yeah, use your fingers.
Let's do it.
Perfectly
Fingers,
acceptable.
box roll. Dude, it's good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, the chili flavor throwing that into the rice is a little, it's a twist.
Different. Yeah.
For sure. We have Wagyu beef. Wagyu beef is Japanese beef. You know, we could get into all day the different species of beef and the variances of that. But what we have here is butter poached Wagyu. So we slowly poach it in butter, and then to rare. And then, you know, at the last minute, we kind of get a quick little sear to get that crunchy texture. And that's served with some wild mushrooms that we sauteed, shaved some fresh black truffle, and some miso. And this is really fatty and unctuous, and it's a great way to end a Japanese meal. Sure. It's Ojoa Steakhouse at Virago.
So tender, so many different tastes going on. It's perfect. It's wonderful. Rob, thanks so much, man. Appreciate it. Everything's been top class. It's been awesome.
It was our pleasure. Appreciate you coming.
Coming up next, H3 goes south of the border without leaving the neighborhood to a taco hangout that has to be tasted to be believed. Don't go anywhere. Hot, hip, and hungry will be right back.